Hello, it's Prince Easy. Well, let's get to it. Narrative control. Now, for those who take what I say here and reverse it and somehow make it their own, to you I issue a warning. Everything I say here is pretty serious, or else I wouldn't even bother. Trust me. So, let's talk about the wine cup, right? The scripture says the whole Babylon will force or even will create situations for the kings of the earth to drink of the cup, right? To drink of the cup, basically partaking in the sins of the whole and eventually even the punishments. And that's exactly the point, yeah? So right now what I see is countries being bought out basically, and at the end of the road they're going to suffer the consequences that Babylon is going to suffer in one way or the other, and that's just the reality, yeah? And it has everything, of course, to do with economics and all of this, yeah, but it's much deeper. But let's talk about this layer only and how it connects to the whole situation, right? So we do talk about crises and speculations, or what they call the stock market or whatever, yeah, the other day, right? Talk about inflation and all of this, yeah? And we also talked about the offer, right? The bag of goodies the devil will be carrying to deceive the nations. The good things that underneath are gonna be are gonna have horrific consequences to the people who partake in it. Okay, so that is what I call the offer, right? It might be debt or forgive not of debt. Any of them is a viable alternative as long as it accomplishes their plan of dominance, yeah? And basically to befriend Zion in such a way that there is no more Zion. Like I said, darkness cannot coexist with light. No light cannot coexist with darkness. Well, there's either light or complete darkness, meaning the darkness consumes the light, and that's what is the war here, right? The darkness is trying so hard to consume the light. Yeah, and it's sad to see that most people are befriending the darkness, and that's quite, and everything we're going to talk about is going to evolve in these paradigms, yeah? And of course we have the whole aspect of sacrificing humans, yeah? All of these G10, they have this thing in their history, yeah, that is quite different from a country like ours here, yeah? A country like ours is quite in a unique situation, or Zion in general, yeah? Even Uganda is the same thing, okay? Although they have their history, but they can be proud of their decisions after the fact, and that's what counts, I think, okay? And that's how nations drink of the cup of the whole, the same glass that is going to be served as as a punishment to the earth, right? So if you're keeping track, last we talked about the way that mobile phones have basically morphed into something else. And now we talked about the SIM card, right? And how that has further led to total control over aspects of the human life, and we should not be thriving to be more controlling, okay? Because this controlling nature always yields the God complex when it fails, and that's what happens. Yeah? So, we have seen vehicles move from 3 pedals to 2 pedals to 1 pedals with, they call regenerative braking, and now in the next phase there's gonna be no pedal, complete autonomy, and that is gonna change society and how people view problems and this and that. Yeah? Just more dependency and more data to further infringe upon their God-given rights. Yeah? To be alive, to make mistakes even. So that is just how it goes. And we need to also understand that we have, for a long time, we have made darkness our friend. We have made darkness our friend. We have made our life, our struggles here on earth as some sort of how it is meant to be. It is not meant to be like this. Okay, I don't know how many times should I say this. We were cast in the garden. This life that we live today is all in consequences of what happened in the garden. Okay, all of this work, this futile work that dies with us is all part of this curse. Okay, but somehow we have made it a lifestyle, and no wonder people now are blaming God. They're blaming God because everybody out here is praising and saying God is good and doing all of these things, and from a mind of a non-believer it sounds like nonsense, because if they look at the real world, they see the chaos, they see the death, and that's when we need to make everything clear, even to those who believe also. It needs to be like out there, right? That we are under a curse as Israel, as humanity, okay? And we cannot get these curses undone by the way that we are going right now. We can't. We can't. That's just the truth. Yeah? Even though these people are trying to undo this curse by, I don't know, pushing for robotics to do all the work. But like I've said in the previous video, is that this is gonna open up the window or the doors to basically people accessing every type of desire they have. This is where the scripture says people will forget God and run after their own desires. Yeah? Whatever they desire they can accomplish, because there is no money anymore to act as a, I don't know, hindrance or buffer towards their desires. Yeah. Some people want to drink until they fall off. Some people want women. Some others they're just vain in whatever aspects of their life is concerned. And they're trying to enable this situation, and unfortunately it's not going to be considered development. It's going to be considered something else. And until we reach there, I think most people are not going to see it. But it has been happening. It is happening just right beneath our feet. Right? We are waking up now because things have picked up the pace. Yeah. There's agenda on top of agenda. They keep repeating themselves, and then we keep recognizing the patterns. So that's their mistake, that's their fault, but again, I call it mercy, right? So the whole influencers, yeah? So we're gonna dip our toes into the whole women-men relationship and how it has been affected by a plethora of factors, um, a plethora of factors. So this is the whole influencer, right? The whole Babylon. Yeah, this goddess, this woman, okay, the scarlet woman, is the one that I am personally at war with, and we as believers are at war with, and whatever doctrine they have, they might call her Thelema or Gaia or Mother Earth or whatever, the husband, the wife of God. They have fancy titles for this character here, right? So the thing we should be looking for is, remember, this is the war of the spirit. Yeah, the spirits and perversion and conversion of spirits in general, right? So what has been the catalyst of this rapid change? Yeah, because we all know, eh? Smartphones are, they began in around 2003, you know, like why have everything just picked up so quick, so fast, so deep even? We're going to look at factors that I have covered independently before, but you know, there's no pain in going through them again, so as we don't, it stays in the back of our minds, right? So we have the media, the movies, the magazines, the music, the TV, the internet, you know. And today we are going to focus on Asia and how it has influenced the rest of the world, and whatever errors that were there have spread across the world. For instance, it started with the magazines, the manga, the anime. Mm? Started with the magazines, yeah. All of the violence, all of the sexual innuendos, all of these things, they started in the magazines, and then they moved into animations, and then they moved into movies, and movies like Kill Bill literally blur the line between this progression when it comes to gore and blood that is actually, I don't know, acceptable to be shown in movies, yeah. But we have like blown past that line, like with the franchise like The Boys. We have, there's a new class of characters coming up. They're called anti-heroes, you know. Anti-heroes, eh, they it's just basically an appeal to human nature, to our imperfections. But rather than being humbled by these imperfections, they are rather proud of these imperfections, right? So we see all of these movements in the world that basically are trying to um, switch, like the scripture said, you know, making things that were considered bad to be good, and it's not just the issue of culture or personal preference, or it's deeper than that, you know, it's deeper than that, right? So this is the strongest, yeah. This is the strongest. Parents have done a shitty job. Me myself, most of the time I spent in front of the TV, you know. That's how I grew up. You know, don't get me wrong, you know, I have had my moments, right? I've had my moments, and I think just by the mercy of God, my life has been like split, even when I was young. I always have an extroverted life and an introverted life. Right now it's more introverted because of the war, but back then I was really, really extroverted, but yet introverted personally. Okay? It's rather a complex type of situation, but I just be is like that, right? So politics, playing God, like I've said, you know, most of these governments have taken the seat of God, have basically become the new religion. So we have these politicians coming out here with a nerve to basically say that the citizens should not be having more children. They should be having this specific number of children. And they deem this to be wise, or even being backed by the heavens. And they walk with pride, saying and feeling like they have done something important. They have literally contributed to society. But we know that is rather them covering up their incompetence and basically revealing their evil underbelly, which was hidden. And now we are seeing nations suffering the consequences of this intervention, which was economic, and then somehow it turned into a social calamity. Costumes. Costumes have played a lot of, it has played a rude role in society today, and I think this is where we begin. And it's not a biased type thing, but we have seen since when I was growing up. My mother was a tailor. My mother was a tailor, and back then tailoring was like a big business. It was a big business because ladies wore decent clothing, and I literally saw it with my two eyeballs how the society shifts. Society has shifted. We back then when I was young, when I was shown prostitutes and women that behave of kind, they are literally the modern women. They are literally the modern women. That's the Babylonian spirit. So costumes. So the first movement was to get ladies out of their comfort zone by, I don't know, claiming feminism and getting women to wear men's attire. Okay, and then the line was further blurred by the fashion industry and these supposed trends that nobody knows where they originate from, but one is somehow obliged to follow or abide by. So it's like the simplest way you can think of it is like there's so much sexual activity going on. Okay, there's so much sexual activity going on. We are literally surrounded by sex everywhere. Yeah, and the only cure to that is not changing the environment, but rather changing the minds of how we perceive these things. Yeah. Stop saying and fear mongering, telling people that sex is terrible, you might this and that, this and that. No, you have to be really smart when you attack these things. I'm going to show you something here, like I've done many times before, but really it's about teaching people to be responsible with this great power that we are given, this ability we are given, because without it there is no continuation of humanity. Okay, no matter how we feel about it, but that is the process. Yeah? That is the process, and uh, the church is not like helping at all. Like I've said, it's a taboo type situation, but I'm not under any of those. obligations or expectations rather. So I can deliver things to you rather raw as they are. Okay? So, costumes, how women dress, it is arousing, let's just say that. Most of women dress, they dress to kill, so they say. They dress to kill. To be as sexually attractive as possible, okay? And God has given women these features in order to stimulate reproduction, but when these attributes are abused or misused, they become harmful, yeah? Hence the prostitutionalization of society, yeah? And of course we have incitement psyops, yeah? We have bogus accounts out there viewing bogus opinions, a lot of them out there, and they're pitting groups, one group going after each other, and it has given birth to some form of extremism where you either like men or women or you do not. Okay, there is no in between. Okay, those rainbow people, they are gone. They are gone. Okay, they are gone because still it's a struggle. The interpersonal relationship is a struggle, and it doesn't matter if it's a woman or a man. It's a struggle. It's a spiritual struggle. There is no understanding. There's so much selfishness going on. That's the issue, I guess. And of course, we have apps and coaches, I call them. Apps, applications that want to replace human interaction and human intimacy, most importantly. Intimacy is lacking. Intimacy is almost seen as a cringe type thing, People feel like it's a cringy type situation, People can't even say they love each other. They gotta time because it seems as a weakness. The person who loves more, they say in a relationship there's always a person that loves the other more than the other. Like, how do you expect that relationship to be sustainable, my friends? How exactly? But that's just the trends that we keep following, and these trends, that the goalpost basically keeps moving every day, changing things, and we have these coaches. I was my father posted this video and to see our opinions about it, and basically there was this relationship coach, and he gave this no, it's not actually, no, it's a video I saw on Instagram. It's not that, I confused the thing, but it was basically a guy giving advice to men and women who are not into marriages yet. And what he said was that, for men, respect over everything, yeah, respect over everything. That's what he said, yeah. And then to the women, he gave them this advice. He said, forget about your emotions, forget about everything else. Look for safety. Look for safety, financial safety, literal safety. Just look for safety, because family is a huge responsibility, yeah. But if you look at these things here, these are literally the reasons why the divorce rate is up. Women are looking for safety. If anything changes in their lives, they want a divorce. They want half of the wealth. Why? Security, because that's their corner. Okay, when everything else fails, everybody wants to practice self-love, self-love. I want to love myself. I want to find myself. This is the things they say. I want to find myself. I want to love myself. And I didn't love myself enough to love you. This is the statements they give each other out there. Like, are you serious? you know? But this is a lie. It's narcissism at its finest. And you can't have a relationship with no narcissist. It's not possible. It's not possible. It needs to be a mutual thing in every way. Okay? It needs to be a commitment. People who are committed to be mutual. Because it's not some form of contractual thing as people phrase it these days, Like, who am I to guarantee your safety? Am I God? I can't even guarantee my own safety when I'm out here. How can I guarantee the safety of my wife, like, all my children? Like, bwana usipolinda mji, aulinda afanye kazi bure. Do you even understand that situation? Do you even understand what that meaning is? You need to separate Babylonian beliefs with Christian beliefs. You need to separate the two. And if you do not know the difference between the two, then we are up for we're finna be shook. Let's just say that. Like I've said, darkness cannot coexist with light. It's not possible. That's not how it works. Okay? Light is the light, and that's it. There is no shadow or a place of a DMZ or some. No. Okay? And of course, the parents' love is also a hindrance to future marriages, For a family which has more boys, of course, the parents will teach their young men to not to rather protect themselves, With all of the, we have gurus out there teaching young men to use the law to basically pin down women when it comes to issues of wealth, prenups and all of these things, They are a result of people acting in a certain type of manner. So people now have to sign prenups. They have to define the wealth they have collected before, and there have to be a clear distinction between the two. So as they know that the divorce is inevitable. Because if you enter into a relationship with such a mind, then you are doomed. If it's not now, maybe 20 years, but you'll be doomed. I guarantee you. Okay? So, let's move on. Let's not dwell on that, We shall circle back to that on a later time, like I've said. We shall do a deeper dive into these aspects of the influencers, the media, the politics, the costumes, the psyops, the apps and coaches, basically bad advice. And of course, they have the parents, the women, the family who has young women. You'll be amazed. Like, just imagine the type of advice that you'll be giving to a young girl if their men or if their future husbands were there in that room listening to you say those words that you call advice towards your offspring. Will they be attracted to your daughter? Will they be interested in courtship with your young boys? That's just the things that we need to be asking ourselves and to be realistic about it. And let's be honest, most of the advice is just terrible and demonic. There is no other way I can phrase it. There is no other term I could use for it, These niggas keep continuing with their bioweapons, man. But I've seen 3 aircraft. The time that I'm making this video up to now, 3 aircraft. But still, I'm out here. Now if everybody committed, even under threat of death, we will be basically undisputed. But nah, people are so cowardly with no spine these days. That's the issue. Maybe it's the separation. It's the separation. The good seeds will be bundled up and be kept in a safe place, while the others will be burnt. I'm out here crying over the burnt, why they chose to be burnt. That's none of my business. Okay, that's none of my business. So let's talk about this. Even tech reviewers have noticed it. Like every new technology is coming out today has everything to do with. Even the recent come up of GeForce is all due to AI. They slap AI on everything. They believe that it's the modern trend. It's gonna sell. It's what is hip right now, so they say. So let's take a look back and realize how much of an influence does AI have at this point. Not in the near future, not some promised features. By the way, I just saw a 4th aircraft dispensing bioweapons. What am I supposed to be, fearful, hide in the house every day? No, nigga, you gotta be kidding me. So, we have facial recognition, we have call voice clearing, where basically it detects background noise and basically edits them in real time to remove them to basically improve the call quality. So we have power management tools. They are all neural engines integrated into these devices. I'm talking about mainly mobile phones as the main media, right? So we have text to speech, we have notification manager with even the newest Apple updates. Basically, they're straight up saying like, we are gonna, this device will learn what type of notification and notifications from who are given a priority by you, and it's gonna give that to you. And of course, we have online apps and their own engines and how they operate out there. I've shown you on the Instagram just a sneak peek of how aggressive the AI is out there. Yeah, and of course we have ads. The whole issue of ads. It's a whole separate video. I think I've been thinking about it, helping, talking to all the people involved in the media. Right, the ads are gonna be the death of you. Yeah, but we're not going to talk about that. It's rather more of ad targeting and allocation. Yeah, it's all run by AI, so it's not a new phenomenon. It's a thing that we have been living with since the introduction of the smartphones, in the 2002 and 3, somewhere over there. So it's not a new phenomenon. And like the pedals in the cars, the buttons, in the smartphones, they came with so many buttons, and now there's almost none. 3, 4. I don't think if there is a smartphone out there with, I don't know, 5 buttons. Hey, another one, another craft. That makes it what? 5 aircraft with all packages of death. It's ridiculously funny, man. At this point, I think they're just trolling me, man. Don't get me wrong. Okay, if you have been listening to my voice, you can see it has changed slightly. Okay, but I'm not worried about them. They're none of my business. I'm immortal, for crying out loud. So, let's move on. So we have this issue festering, and they're very strategic when it comes to the executions of war and stuff like that, But I need you to mostly understand this, okay? If we keep into consideration the natural ocean rivers flowing, they call it the currents or whatever, There's a reason why they called this Dar es Salaam a safe port. It's because of this current, okay? You know about it. Okay, now these people are trying to install this facility, and whatever happened to them, it will not stay there. It will all be carried to our country, to the entirety of the coast of our country. Suppose that they have a quote-unquote meltdown, okay? And we know that they are not that advanced to have protection. Yeah, we have seen there are literally tools out there that can facilitate and cause a meltdown. Okay, non-intrusive sabotage type situation. Okay, the Babylonians have a whole application. It's a tiny app that they just inject into your system, and literally it gives them control over the entirety of your system. So how about they accidentally cause a meltdown, and these people are playing with fire, So, more sex stuff. They're literally the spirit of the whore is permeating everything. Even Hollywood is feeling the pain. All of these movies that had men leading them have now somehow moved to women leading them. If you ask them, they say, it's the feminist movement. No, the feminist movement is weak because most of their ideologies they gotta be out of their minds if they think they're gonna accomplish anything. But they're not doing that because of feminism. It's just a cover. They're doing it because of the whore. They're doing it because their God is a woman. Why is it a woman? Because Judah always provides a man. And who is best positioned to destroy a man? A woman. Okay? Get that through your sick heads. Okay? It's not a war about men and women rights. No, it's not about that. It's basically about rights. Okay? It's basically about rights, not women rights or human rights or anything like that. It's just rights. Plain and simple. Yeah? I'm not supposed to be I don't know, harmed by my fellow men for whatever reason or things like this, But since we insist on giving special status to special groups of people, then we should be reaping of what we sow. Let's just say that. We'll be reaping what we sow. And that's what we are seeing right now. Men and women literally going at each other's neck, demanding the other give the other their rights, like that works. So the 4B movement, The 4B movement, this is the phenomenon that they say it is a movement growing in the Asian regions. It's growing, and it's the reasons to why society is how it is today. And basically, the 4B stands for there's no sex, there's no dating, there's no marriage, there's no children. Literally. Look at this. This is what is coming up on the horizon of Zion. And it's here. It's just a cold war over here, but over there it's a hot war. Literally, a hot war. People on the streets doing something about it. But I don't think it's not a realistic phenomenon. It's just their vision of division. It's just their Asian psyop. But in reality, it's a worldwide psyop. It's run in the black community, in the Mexican community, in the Esau and Jacob are victims here of this psyop. The serpents wants to destroy. They want to destroy. And the best way to stagnate humanity is just like slavery, take away the people. Of course, all of these major issues, why are they around sex? Why is it? And now they want to get the Christian community to, I don't know, participate. I don't think I have any issues with IVF, but I rather, it's a blanket term, this IVF. It's a blanket term because it has evolved over the period of time. It has evolved. Okay, right now they are offering packages. It's no longer just IVF. They call it designer babies. I don't know if you have heard of this phenomenon, where basically they, before they implant or before they do the germination thing, they edit the gene sequences to basically make the child of your dreams. And then with IVF, with the technology, with the CRISPR, they can do such things. Literally today, now, as I'm speaking to you, okay, 2 black people can give birth to a blonde baby looking like David Beckham out here. And it's not like one of those rhesus gene thing, no. It's a plan. They literally wanted that. Okay, now that sets up a stage for very dangerous. That's too much power to give to parents. Okay, because parents are still people. They're still highly irresponsible with power. Still, being a parent is a powerful thing. It's a really, really powerful thing. And people are like right now, like really, really, really extremely irresponsible with this power. Now, for us who have no children yet, maybe it will help us do better than our parents, perhaps. Do better. That's what every parent should be hoping for. Okay, but they should be rather realistic that God is in control of this whole situation. It's not only the efforts of the parents doing what they're supposed to be doing. It's sad to see that, like most of my friends, their parents are literally just giving up on their lives. They do not want to be part of their lives. I don't know, because of financial reasons or whatever. But this number is going to keep rising. People who want nothing to do with their parents, just like we're seeing over there in Babylon, right? Their parents get old, they don't want to live with them, they take them to these special centers where they just pay and never come visit until they die, and then they come to take the ashes or whatever. That's the grim future that parents, you made that future. You made that future. You are literally making it right now with every decision you make. Okay, so I do not want to hear no complaint later on. I'm just giving you the keys. Now, what you're doing now determines how your children are going to perceive you later. Are they going to love you? Are they going to keep you in their minds? Are they going to take heed to your wisdom? Okay? And stop making it a financial thing. It's the most disturbing thing I've ever seen, you know. People want to put a figure on everything. If you were to put a figure on everything, what would my price be then? If I were to charge people who are using the information that I provide here in their lives, how much? How much? That's my question. You know, further provocation we see. And the reshaping of the story, as usual, playing the victim. They are not anti-Semitic, they're just pro-Palestinian, and being pro-Palestinian does not necessarily mean that they hate you. That's an assumption you make. Okay, but since these media platforms are your mouthpieces, then you can reveal yourself for the true devious group of people you are. Okay? And it's not all of them, it's just a few bad apples. Okay, remember, Esau, the remnants of Esau, some of the Esau, there will be remnants that will be saved of Esau. Okay, but God will be really, really harsh with Esau. Okay, and who is Esau? If you do not have a black skin. That's just the reality, man. Okay, we can go into the politics of the whole situation. It's like the modern people of today do not want to take no responsibility for slavery. Are you serious? You need to take responsibility for slavery. In 2024, you need to, dear Esau, for the sake of your soul. If you do not, this will rot your soul. Because in reality, you do not really know what your leaders are doing over here in Africa. You do not. You don't have no idea. But every day they come out here and they tell us, we represent the interests of the so and so country, and now we are going to war because we are protecting our national interests or our national security. These are the terms they use it, meaning they are your representatives. Yeah, you are the ones supposed to hold these people to a higher standard and even hold them responsible for their idiotic decisions. Like I'm shocked. Like person like Macron is still a president. Like I'm seriously shocked. This world right now is like really upside down. Or even Netanyahu. Like why is he in office? Why? What is he doing? You people need to ask yourself these serious questions, because if you're not, and if you're gonna not ask these questions, then trust me, you're gonna drink from the cup as you are. You're gonna drink from that cup. Trust me, you. You're gonna drink from that cup automatically, by default. And of course, the sex virus, they're trying to fight. They're trying to fight. They're trying to morph the agenda. But they're rather making it more important. Now they're coming out and throwing out claims that there is some sort of bias. Are you serious? At this point, I think we as Zion, we should show zero insensitivity to their situations, completely, because this is slowly turning to a circus, into a joke. Okay? And turning away from this media circus. Okay, be really sensitive to the local, to the poor people who have no power, no control over their future, rather than the idiotic leaders deciding. Look at what is happening in Sudan. Was that necessary? Now we have the Ukrainians and Wagner over there fighting, claiming that they are protecting their interests. Are you freaking kidding me? Me as Mike, I will let you know my views about these things, and maybe you'll understand. Maybe most of the time I'm just cool. Maybe most of the time I'm just cool and people take that for granted and think that's how I feel about these things. No, they're infuriating. So why did you even sell this? Didn't you do proper research to see that what you are suggesting was feasible or not? Or was it just the heat of a moment? You need to feel good about yourself. Killing people does not equate to saving the environment. That's ridiculous. You'll be asked to pay and you have nothing to offer. That's where things will become interesting. Again, they continue to make things worse. So you're telling me, Gen Z, they call it, you're gonna alienate them from their mobile phones. Nigga, they rather not go to school. They have ChatGPT anyway, nigga. So what? You want these teachers that are pushing perverse ideologies to children to become what? The center of their learning? Like, how much trust do you have them? I rather give my child a Google than one of these teachers out there in Babylon. That's just me and my opinion and what I've seen and how far these people are willing to go to perverse children. So this is not for the sake of children. By the way, the Servants aircraft. This is not to protect children. They have no interest. They want to destroy children. They want to destroy children. Okay? If we were to be honest with ourselves and observe all of these issues that have been rising up as of recent, it is because of the power of expression that children have. Even the power of anonymity. They can express their opinions openly. And all of these cases that we are seeing out here of violation of children and basically all of the sexes, the perversion. Like I've said in the HIV diagnosis example, is that the platforms are here. They are available for reporting. That's why we see so many of these cases are coming up. So it's not worse now, it was worse back then. All of those unreported cases. So we should use this opportunity of people coming forward to sympathize with these people and punish those responsible for taking the dignity and the innocence of children. Look at this mess. You know, what do you think this is somehow their goal to create a line between men and women? They have already blurred that line. So this is just a bait and switch tactic. Okay? Sooner or later they're gonna create a law that will enable this swimmer to engage, and just like that, kiss women's sports goodbye. Au revoir, bye-bye. Bye-bye to women's sports. They are struggling as they are right now. They are trying hard with the costumes, right? I mean, like, seriously, look. Look at tennis. Look at volleyball. And people like, look at how they dress, most importantly. Look at how they dressed. There's a sexual angle to it, you know, just like the media people say, sex sells. Sex sells. That has even permeated into the film industry, you know, like the most lucrative animations of this generation right now as we are speaking. They're basically a hybrid of children and elder messaging inside one package. That's what sells. And what's mostly what is that package within the package? It's sex. Everywhere. Everywhere. And they are hoping that these ideas will fly by the heads of the children and land on the adults who are, I don't know, understanding of these ideologies, but that does not happen. Something else happens. Tokyo plays Cupid. What is Cupid? You should research that. It's a god. But they are struggling. But again, because there is a cold war between men and women, so apps will not make a difference. You know, people want to date now by offering CVs, you know. All of these sites, you enter in there, you give your height, you give your job, you give all of these intimate detail, and basically it's not even phishing. It's picking and choose from a catalog of men what tickles your fancy by what they have presented, which is in most cases not even true. But again, they have tried using laws and all of these things to make these things a legitimate choice, but no, it's not. It's going to suffer the same issues, just like we have seen with people lying on other platforms of social media, right? Just lying straight up. Again, they are not as high quality. They are not the same diamonds. We might have 3 variants of diamonds, but only one is a diamond, and the others are chemically characterized as a diamond. Look at that, a Harvard study. A Harvard study has done some research and has come up with this conclusion. Was it a scientific study, or was it some, I don't know, conspiratorial type situation? I have many questions. More war. Talk about the Cuban Missile Crisis. It's a worldwide situation. just because they are teachers, they are not alienated from sexual pressures the society has created, but rather they are the victims of the whole situation. And victims yield more victims. There's nobody to help the other. It's just a crisis, full-on crisis. Full-on crisis. And now they want to take the mobile phones away from the children's hands. Like that is going to be... They're going somewhere with this, you know. They're going somewhere with this, yeah. And it's going to make the situation worse for children. Just like the cannabis thing. You keep playing with it. I told you to do this, and you're doing the other thing. The opposite, the directly opposite of what I've been saying. That's what you're doing. And you wanna pretend like what? I do not see it, or I'm ignoring it, or somehow you have something to say that I've not heard. These are the presumptions that you're making, but it's your own fault. And you have to deal with that consequences later on. That's my promise to you. Okay? But I'm saying what you're doing. I'm saying what you're doing. Okay? So, I'm just saying. Every day. And this reporting, sooner or later, is going to make people highly defensive. It's going to affect... They're going to just say like, okay, now we are no longer going to try to find trustworthy men or whatever, because they're all rapists. And all of these single mothers, they're going to be up in arms in fear that their children is going to be played with. You need to strike a balance on how you approach these things. Okay, you do not want to paint a picture. Okay, because if we look at the statistics, I would say 80% of the cases have to do with men, and 20% perhaps have to do with women. You know? All of these children, all of these rapes, all of these situations, you know. Women have their own. Women have their own abortions. So there's no one greater than the other. You know. They have their own abortion corner where they can just kill, my body, my choice. Yeah? Literally, murder. But I do not want to go down that rabbit hole, because people want to say like, they're not, it's not technically murder. Are you freaking serious? I told you, leave it alone. I said it, leave it alone. Make your own. You as a government are the most, literally, you are the reason most people join Twitter in the first place. To get feedback from you, the government. And now you want to turn and say, nah, how about this? The president delete their Twitter account. All of the prime ministers and the ministers delete your accounts on Twitter. All of you who are in the high positions in the government, how about we start there? Delete all of your Twitter accounts. Delete them. And after that, we can have this conversation. But they can do whatever they want to do, because they are not subjected to the law of this nation. They can do whatever. It's a whole world. It's a new world. The metaverse is another planet, lack of a better term. Okay? You need to understand that. You can't take these laws and just apply them over there. Nah. Okay? How are you going to ban Twitter? How? explain. It's a good suggestion. We have children, we want to protect our children, and this platform has allowed some materials to be uploaded up in there. Like, are you serious? Have you seen Instagram? People are not serious these days, They just want to trend. They just want to become famous. That's what they do. So they come up with these ideas that they have not really sat down and think about it. You know how many posts I had to untag on my Facebook wall? Some hackers are literally using what I don't know if I would call them clickbait. All of us who visit Facebook once in a while, you just find a picture over there, just wham, right in your face. You are tagged in this photo, and if you go to the account of the person that supposedly tagged you in that photo, they did not upload that photo. So somebody is using AI, piggybacking on Facebook's platform to fish for passwords. That's what they're doing. So stop thinking that you can outplay the people who literally made the game. You can't. Stop lying to yourself. You can't. Okay? Make your own. And if people are following these platforms for information from you, to get further explanation, for instance, maybe a PSYOP has been launched with a ridiculous claim. Perhaps maybe we have sold our ocean and part of our minerals to Korea. You can have a platform that literally people go and visit, and after that it can grow into something else. But stop bothering with X, and that's a hornet's nest you do not want to be kicking right now. Trust me, you do not. Okay? You do not. They literally banned the president from that platform. Do you think these people are playing? Okay? They did it to Trump while he was president. He was literally kicked off of a platform. So do you think they are scared of UVCCM? People, you should know who you're dealing with. Okay? And fight these wars, I'm telling you, too. You have great ideas, yes, but they're not going to work. They're not going to turn out the way you want it to turn out. So I feel like every time I'm trying to put out this fire, you go ahead and just light up another fire. And look back at me and smiling, and like I'm supposed to be, I don't know, feel proud. Like, really. Anyway, Prince Easy, love you, signing out. Bye.